Welcome to the John and Heidi Show podcast.
John and Heidi.
Here's John and Heidi.
Today is a special day, Heidi. Do you know what today is?
What is today, John?
I thought you'd never ask, Heidi. It is Friday. It is the 9th day of August. It is Book Lovers Day. Heidi's a book lover.
I am. I love to
and
read.
she's a recent library user as well.
I am.
Do you have a library book out right now?
I do.
I thought so. I thought I saw it at home. National Billiards and Pool Day, International Co-working Day, National Polka Day, National Hand Holding Day. Get your hand over here, Heidi. National Veep Day, like Vice President Veep Day, National Rice Pudding Day, and National Kool-Aid Day. All of those things happening on this, the 9th day of August. And I have a guest joining me. Do you remember the band Milli Vanilli?
I do.
And do you remember how that kind of came to an end not so well?
I do.
Well, one of the gentlemen from Milli Vanilli, Fab, is going to be my guest today because there's a new documentary, not a documentary, we call it. It's where they biopic about the band, and it's like their side of the story. It's called Girl, You Know It's True, and I'm going to be chatting with Fab coming up.
Oh, this will be interesting.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from VitaTech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how VitaTech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. In a world where experts are leaving no stone unturned in their search for sustainable energy sources, researchers at Concordia University say they may have found an unlikely hero, microscopic algae. Yeah, they've come up with a promising new technology called microphotosynthetic power cells that harness the natural process of these tiny organisms to generate electricity. In addition, they claim they found a way to dramatically increase the power output of these miniature green energy factories simply by linking them together like a series of batteries. And it gets better. This method not only has the potential to produce clean energy, it can also remove carbon from the atmosphere in the process as well.
Really?
So yeah, you'd be using moss, basically.
Well, that's fascinating.
Yeah, so that's kind of cool. These little itty-bitty power cells, microscopic algae. They came up with this little plan. So I don't know how it works, but it's fascinating. Surveys and studies and such brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
If you want a better credit card, it can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's BetterCreditCards.com.
Did you know? Brought to you by GenesisGoldIRA.com. Heidi, did you know the annual flu shot could soon be a thing of the past? Scientists at Oregon Health and Science University are working on a revolutionary formula that might mean we'd only need one flu shot ever. No annual vaccinations, no worrying about whether this year's shot will match the flu strain for this year. They're saying that if you take this particular shot, you're good to go forever. I will let some other people try that first.
I think I will avoid that.
I'm not. I don't want to be a naysayer, but nay. All right, we don't know everything, but now we know this.
John and Heidi.
Now, big screen, little screen, brought to you by radiosavings.com. Part 3 of that 90s show will now premiere earlier than originally planned. The remaining 8 episodes of Season 2 will drop August 22nd, 2 months earlier than originally thought. Netflix announced this through a cast video. Kurtwood Smith, Deborah Jo Rupp, Part 2 guest star Seth Green, Will Forte, Kevin Smith. So it's a sequel to that 70s show 15 years later. So it's set in 1995.
Yeah, I've seen bits of it.
And I've not watched it. And again, it's not that I'm boycotting or anything. I don't want to get hooked on another series.
Exactly. That's what we say all the time. We just don't watch much TV because it takes so much time.
American Idol debuted a new video on Good Morning America featuring career highlights of a new judge, Carrie Underwood, who's scheduled to appear and perform on the ABC morning show. It says today, so this is from whenever this story came out. The video highlights her career-making performance that happened on American Idol 20 years ago.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, she was the first American Idol winner,
cow.
I believe. Anyway, so it's a Cinderella story, they say. She's going to be replacing Katy Perry on the judge panel for this season. Big Screen, Little Screen, brought to you by RadioSavings.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference, even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on RadioSavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at RadioSavings.com. That's RadioSavings.com.
Now your scoop of the day comes your way, courtesy of BetterCreditCards.com. It's almost back to school time. In addition to all the preparation involved in getting your kids ready to go back to school, there's also the issue of the cost of back to school shopping. With that in mind, a new survey found that 3 in 4 parents say they'd try just about any hack to save money on school supplies. For some, it included stealing supplies from work.
What?
Yeah, others say they've gone dumpster diving for school supplies.
Dumpster?
2,000 parents of elementary school kids in the U.S. uncovered the top tip parents have for keeping their back-to-school shopping under control. They say purchasing school supplies whenever they go on sale. So don't wait until school is back in session.
Yeah.
Even if that means waiting until after kids are back in class.
Right,
Some of the
and
other,
then stock up because
Yeah.
you know you're going to need it again next year
Some
anyway.
of the other pearls of wisdom shared by veterans of the back-to-school shopping scene, hoarding supplies throughout the year.
Yeah.
Another one is extreme couponing, which I've never done, but it's interesting. Have you seen people who do that?
I have. There was like a show about it.
I didn't watch the show, but I watched a video on the internet where somebody had like carts of stuff.
Yeah.
And then their total bill was like $18.
Yeah, and I don't know how.
I'm like, I don't
because
understand
my coupons
how
are
that
usually
works,
like you
but-
save 50 cents. So
Yeah.
I don't know
We're
how
clearly
they're doing
that wrong. Another one, looking for half-used items around your house. So you're like, oh, you needed glue? Well, you didn't use all the glue last year, so take the rest of it this year.
Yeah, but you don't want to be the parent that sends their kid with a bunch of. I mean, it's you remember how cool it was going to school with
No.
your brand new school
I never
supplies?
had the brand new stuff. Mine was what's that? Kmart brand? Yeah, that's
Yeah, but
what
it
I
was
got.
still new,
No,
and you
usually
sorted
not.
it all out.
No.
And
Join Buy Nothing groups on social media where you trade things and trading supplies with other parents. And yes, even dumpster diving, suggested by 5% of parents. 12% admitted to stealing supplies from their workplace to send kids back to school. So I don't suggest that. But if you want to read the whole story, it's in
dumpster
there.
diving. They're looking in garbage, hoping to find school
hoping
supplies.
like behind the stores that sell that kind of stuff, hoping they're finding like
Okay.
out of season stuff. I don't know. You can find all of the information in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit genesisgoldira.com.
Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday. Excited to visit with Fab Morvan from Milli Vanilli. We're going to talk about the new movie, the new biopic, Girl, You Know It's True. It's in theaters starting today. I watched the trailer. It looks fantastic. And Fab, I remember when this happened, but you lived it. So this is like part of your life.
Listen, at the end of the movie, when I was at the premiere in Munich and Berlin, I looked within myself. I was like, man, if someone would have wrote that, it would have been like, wow, that's great. But it is a true story. It's not a made-up story. It's a true story. And then I start to look at my life and what I went through, and the fact that I'm still here today. I'm happy. I got 4 kids. I can brush my shoulders off finally. You know, it hasn't been easy.
Yeah.
And they didn't make it easy for me. And I didn't make it easy for myself by doing what I did. And I took full responsibility for what I did. But they made us pay and treated us like rotten tomatoes, that's for sure.
And at the time that this happened, there's a lot of people listening that maybe don't realize this, but when this happened in the late 80s, early 90s, this is before the internet, this is before social media. So when this happened, we were just told what to think, and you didn't get a chance to say anything from your side. So it was basically, this is what happened, and here's the story. You got to just, take our word for it. Now you get a chance to tell your side.
Yeah, exactly. But back then, there were only 4 pipelines. So once you went into the pipeline, and the narrative written, there was nothing you could do. Now, today with social media, you could work it. You could get a song out in a week and tell people, yo, listen, I can sing. And obviously, with these 2 records that are coming out, I got Girl You Know It's True that came out last Friday, a rework, and then Blame It on the Rain coming out this Friday. And Diane Warren gave me her blessings. When you listen to those tracks, people are going to be like, oh, wow, okay, this guy could always sing. When you look at the documentary, at the end of the documentary, you can see me sing Blame It on the Rain. Obviously, I'm on the road every weekend.
Yeah.
But people, it was always told, no talent, they couldn't sing. Now I had to carry that burden for years.
Yeah.
But what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And with this movie, finally, people are going to be able to understand what truly happened. You know, the dynamics between Rob and Fab, the industry, the executives, wanting to make the money as long as they could and the quickest as possible because they knew our time was counted. The clock was ticking.
Well, and I remember, growing up in the 80s and 90s, listening to the music and, big fan. I remember all of this happening. Like I said, I'm from a different side of it, though. It didn't happen to me. This happened to you. You were one of the pawns in the scheme, but when it comes right down to it, it was really the record label that kind of pulled all of this, didn't they?
Oh, man, listen, man. They ran for the hills and hid in their big old houses while we at the bottom were struggling, trying to survive, trying to eat, because all that money that was made, we didn't see none of that. And Frank Farian, which we tried to take to justice, well, we gained nothing out of that. We just lost money. That's what happened. So really unfair to Rob and Fab because people were, of course, we were in the front. We were the front men. But people didn't understand that behind Rob and Fab, they were serious machines, pulling the strings, making money, printing money, selling CDs, vinyl, cassettes. The cassettes were dying, and then we were selling CDs and vinyl. An album was worth $16 to $18 at a time. When you sold 8 million records, that was a lot of money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was a lot of money.
People were buying this stuff. They absolutely were big fans, Milli Vanilli, and I think a lot of that had to do with the two of you. They saw what you looked like. They loved what you looked like. They loved the sound. It was just a different sound and a different person. And again, that wasn't your decision. I think that you guys kind of took the brunt end of this. People were upset with you, but it wasn't your decision. I love the fact that we finally get to see what happened in this new biopic. Girl, You Know It's True.
Really, man, I'm really happy about that. So we'll see where it's going to lead. But Girl You Know It's True, Blame It on the Rain. You be the judge, ladies and gentlemen. 1 + 1 = 2.
Absolutely.
Not 3.
Well, Fab, thank you for your time. I appreciate it a bunch.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Again, our guest today has been Fab Morvan, and he is with the band Milli Vanilli from the 80s and 90s. And the cool thing is, there's a new biopic out today called Girl You Know It's True. I've got a link to the trailer so you can see that in the show notes. And he's got the songs that they got in trouble for not singing in the 80s and 90s. He actually recorded those now. I've got a link to that as well. If you're interested, you can click and take a listen. It's in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. Recently, Charlie started wearing a bracelet from VitaTech Healing.
I'm an avid golfer, and I was going to give it up this year. I just deteriorated that much. Now I'm back to golfing, enjoying it, having a good time. I just can't stress enough how good it is.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how VitaTech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
An awkward silence takes 4 seconds to be considered awkward. Well, it depends on what was said before that silence.
That's true.
Let me tell you, I've seen awkward silences that were awkward before they were even silent. I have.
Usually caused by me.
Yes, more than once. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Hamburgers were not named after ham. They were named for a German city, Hamburg, Germany.
I knew that.
Yeah. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Cashews are officially a fruit. Huh.
I love cashews.
Me too. Fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Your eyeballs do not grow or change in size as you age. So the eyes that you have now are the same eyes and the same size as when you were a baby. And our final fun fact for you, Heidi.
What's that, John?
Most of the dust in your house is made up of dead skin.
I knew that as well.
Yuck. All right. Several fun facts. Now you know. Thanks for listening to the John and Heidi Show.
If you want a better credit card, It can be easy and not so hard. BetterCreditCards.com. Earn more points and get more perks. Get what you're looking for in a card that works. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com. Give yourself a little credit. BetterCreditCards.com.
That's bettercreditcards.com.
Time now for the Mint Mobile question of the day. It comes your way, courtesy of mintervention.com. Question for you, Heidi. With kids going back to school soon, 28% of parents are looking forward to this again. What is it? You did this. I've never done this. I remember you doing this, and I made fun of you a few times doing this.
I don't know.
Packing their lunches.
Oh, yeah.
She would always come up with the weirdest things. I remember one time you were like sending our
Oh,
son
my
to school with
gosh.
a carameled apple and
He was
circus
not.
peanuts.
It was
or
not just lunch. They were going on a field
Oh,
trip.
is that what it was? I'm like, what are you doing? This kid's like a circus freak. Cotton candy and a carameled apple. Like, no. Mint Mobile question of the day comes your way, courtesy of mintervention.com.
Charlie has Parkinson's. He started wearing a bracelet from Vitatech Healing, and he's noticed a difference even while sleeping.
Once I got in bed, I couldn't roll over. I couldn't move. I was just whatever position I was in, just a chore to get out of bed. And now everything is so much better.
Click on radiosavings.com to hear more of Charlie's story and find out how Vitatech Healing is helping others with ADHD, fibromyalgia, autism, and more. Plus, find radio-only savings by clicking the link at radiosavings.com. That's radiosavings.com.
Now, some weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com. Boston Red Sox catcher Danny Jansen just might become the first player in Major League Baseball history to play for both teams during the same game. The Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays resumed their suspended contest on August 26th. Well, he started that game working for the Blue Jays.
Oh, that's weird.
And June 26th, the game was put on hold during the second inning because of rain. July 27th, the Jays traded Jansen to the Red Sox in exchange for others prospects. The game that was in progress is scheduled to resume August 26th. If he's utilized at any point in the remaining 7+ innings or extra innings, he would be the first player in Major League Baseball's 121-year history to appear in a single game for both teams.
That's
Coincidentally,
crazy.
he was at plate for the Blue Jays, facing a 0-1 count when the game was called. Naturally, he will not be allowed to finish that at bat because, well, he's now on the other team. So,
Wow.
how weird is that?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I bet my baseball friends love that kind of thing because it's one of those weird, doesn't hardly
Yeah,
ever
that's
happen.
very
Well, it's
unique.
never happened before. Weird news brought to you by WeirdGiftOfTheDay.com.
John and Heidi.
Time now for the list, brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com. Here are 4 types of naps and how to choose which one is perfect for you. Power nap. For most, a classic power nap is 10 to 20 minutes in the early afternoon. It'll help shake off that post-lunch blah, and it'll help you feel okay for the rest of the day. A coffee nap is a short nap. It's not much help, though. Try this. Drink a cup of coffee quickly, then lie down. It takes caffeine about 10 minutes to affect you and about 45 minutes to reach peak concentration in your blood, which means you could get in a power nap, and then as the caffeine is kicking in, you wake up.
Huh.
That sounds like a lot of work to me.
It does sound like a whole lot of work.
Convenient nap. Scheduling a nap is great, but if your schedule is all over the place, an imperfect nap is better than no nap at all. A nap when the baby is sleeping, while on public transit or during your lunch hour. Okay. And a performance nap. If you have a stressful or physical demanding task coming up, like a presentation, they say a short nap for a few hours ahead of time can help give you a boost. I am horrible at naps. I can't do them.
I have really been wanting them lately.
But if
though.
I take a
I'm
nap, I'm
so
out. I'm just
tired.
out. So, yeah, I've never
Yeah,
really
I can't. I've never done a 20-minute
Yeah,
nap.
I
Like
do a
that's
10
just
minute
not
nap.
even a thing.
Wake me in 10 minutes. I'm like, I'm not even asleep yet in 10 minutes.
Exactly.
That is the list brought to you by BetterCreditCards.com.
Can your IRA or 401k stand up to the next financial crisis? By allocating a percentage of your retirement into physical gold and silver with a tax-free rollover, you can diversify and safeguard your holdings from turbulent markets and economic downturns. Safeguard your assets with a tax-free rollover with a Genesis Gold IRA, the only IRA that can hold physical precious metals. Protect your retirement today with a simple phone call and receive your free gold and silver guide. Call 1-800-200-GOLD or visit genesisgoldira.com.
Time now for the quote of the day. It comes your way courtesy of radiosavings.com. Our quote today is from Mignon McLaughlin. I apologize if I got that name wrong. I probably did. Here's the quote, though. It is important to our friends to believe that we are unreservedly frank with them, and important to the friendship that we are not.
There you go.
So tell me everything, Heidi. Don't hold back. And then if you want to still be married, you better hold back. Quote of the day comes your way courtesy of radiosavings.com.
John and Heidi.
This portion of the John and Heidi Show is brought to you by the John and Heidi Show. That sounds kind of funny, but it's true. Go to your local radio station and ask them to start carrying the John and Heidi Show. Here's the best part. They can carry the show for free. They play a couple commercials, but it doesn't cost them anything every month. So if you know a radio station that could use a little bit of help, send them our way. Send them to johnandheidishow.com. Again, johnandheidishow.com. We would love to do a radio program in your community. Then you could listen to the podcast and listen to us on the radio.
John and Heidi.
We always like to wrap things up around here with good news, and I think this is good news. It comes your way courtesy of GenesisGoldIRA.com. And I think this is a really cool story. Local law enforcement honors retired deputy battling cancer. This happened in Florida.
Oh.
Police cars cruised down Carter Avenue, their lights flashing and sirens blaring. This time, however, they were responding not to a crime scene, but they were coming to honor a local hero. Ken Patton, who served as a deputy with the Martin County Sheriff's Office in Florida for 33 years. He retired in 2013. Well, 18 months ago, he was diagnosed with cancer, and now his family says he's in his final days. He was a tough man, a fair man, a big teddy bear, my dad, according to the daughter. He loved the law, and he loved law enforcement, added his son. He's one of his biggest joys was serving his community. In a heartfelt gesture, the team at the Treasure Coast Hospice arranged for local law enforcement to drive by his home with full lights and sirens, providing a final tribute to a man who dedicated his entire life to public service. I thought this was a really important moment to give to somebody who has given so much to others, to honor him for those years, said the Treasure Coast Hospice director. With many years of service that he's given to the community, this is the least that we could do at the sheriff's office. That's what the sheriff said. So as the procession passed by the home, he was in bed by the window. Despite being rarely conscious these days, he was alert for this moment all the way through. So, and the kid said that it meant the world to him, by the way. So, yeah, what a sad but happy story. Happy that they did that for him, but sad that he's going away.
Yeah.
And again, if you'd like to read the story, there's video and photos and all of that. I've got a link to the story in the show notes for today at johnandheidishow.com. Time to say goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, Heidi.
Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. Thank you for listening to the John and Heidi Show on a Friday.